Hello everyone. My name is Liza Pondong, the last reporter of Group 5, the influence of Western and Eastern on the Filipino. This is the continuations of Ms. Robusta's report. My assigned topic is all about the Filipino values. Filipino values are standards people use to determine desirable goals and outcomes. These are the criteria on which people base their judgment regarding behaviors and decision. The Filipino values are standards of people wherein the values is the criteria on which other people base their judgment towards other regarding of behaviors. Our first Filipino values is utang na loob. It is a technique of reciprocity of debt of gratitude to others within the family circle or primary group. Sometimes unlimited in nature, emotional rather than financial or rational. Utang na loob is isang paraan sa pagbawi ng debt of gratitude to someone who helped you the time that you need help the most. We need to make it up to them willingly because inability to repay utang na loob will result in the individual being labeled as walang utang na loob. Next is pakikisama. It is the value of belongingness and loyalty to the small in group with sensitivity to the feelings of others on the principle of give and take. Based on the context, this cultural value is important in Filipino society for fostering cooperations and maintaining harmonious relationship to others. Even if labag na sa imong kalooban, need nimo i-maintain ang imong relationship sa ila so as dili sila masakitan. Next is hiya. This controls to a large extent the behavior of individual and most likely is generally dependent on what other will think, say, and do. Hiya or shame. Most of us, we have this value, right? Hiya is the value that regulates the Filipino social behavior. Isa ni siya ka factors that influence how Filipino behaves when they interact with others. It's because hiya controlling our behavior. That's why we have time that we are in silent sometimes in terms of expressing our feelings and exposing rants. It's because we ashamed of what other people think, see, say, or do against us. Okay? Next is bahala na. It is a common expression among Filipino in distress on the fatalistic outlook. And strong dependence on the spirits who will take care of everything if they are really meant for a person. Bahala na is a Filipino way of expressing a fatalistic attitude towards life or as a determined one in a challenging situations where things are risky and uncertain. Sometimes we can say these words, jud bahala na. Labi na if we are in many challenges. Makaingon na lang tag whatever happens, happens. Kung unsay mahitabo, dawaton. Okay, next is authoritarianism. It is the dependence of Filipinos in paternalistic rather than in a stern way upon the elders of the family, upon their boss if employed, and upon people in authority as their father figure. Authoritarianism ang tawag sa pagtuo sa mga Pilipino sa isang paternalistic kaysa sa mahigpit na paraan ng mga matatanda, mga amo, or mga may trabaho. At especially mga tao nga naa sa otoridad. Ang paternalistic is mo na ang kanang paghimo og mga decision alang sa uban mga tao. So next is individualism. So it is a pattern of behavior which characterizes the Filipino as self-centered. So ang individualism is a pattern of behavior nga nagpaila sa isa ka Filipino as self-centered. It's because individualism, it can act independently rather than depending on others. So being individualism, we can learn how to value our self-worth. So next is amor proprio. It is the individual's highly emotional reaction to protect his or her honor and dignity when he or she is threatened and questioned, and so retaliates. So ang amor proprio is gikan na siya sa Spanish word. So so sa definition sa amor proprio akong nasabitan. So Filipinos are very sensitive to criticism and insults, right? So that's why amor proprio is one of our emotional reaction jud para protektahan ang atong karangalan and dignity against sa mga tao nga nagtrato sa atoa og dili maayo. So because Filipinos are sensitive, so once an individual being insulted sa pananalita man o mga katanungan, so naiuban tao nga dili magduha-duha to swallow their pride to revenge against that people. So this is very important because when we respect ourselves, so it is easier for others to respect us as well. So next is strong family ties or matibay na ugnayan ng pamilya. So it is one of the core values of families. Strong mutual relationship banded by love, understanding, and respect towards each family members. So absolutely, strong family ties are indeed a core value for any family. So they create a support system built on love, understanding, and respect that can be a source of strength and comfort for all family members. So next is kawang gawa. So it is being sympathetic to others even if the person is stranger. So kawang gawa or sa English is charity. So kini siya kay it is the voluntary giving of help to those in need. So as a humanitarian act or without asking for anything in return but just thank you is enough. So kanang you are willingly to help jud sa uban tao nga bisan dili nimo kaila as long as you help without kapalit. So next is gaya-gaya. So it is imitating or copying other culture, specifically the mode of dressing, language, fashion, or even haircut. So gaya-gaya is our attitude and culture na jud, diba? So most of Filipinos adapt na jud ani nga attitude. So Filipinos love to imitate and they are very good at it, right? So kana to imitate or copying other cultures mode, but gaya-gaya is na-define na jud ta as no originality. So next is good sense of humor in the midst of difficulties. So it is a trait found in most Filipinos, a trait that makes them unique, that even in time of calamities, other challenges in life, they always have something to be happy about, a reason to celebrate. So a good sense of humor in the midst of difficulties is indeed a notable trait that we found in many Filipinos. So their ability to find joy and humor even in challenging situations. So ang good sense is it can help them to maintain a positive outlook and build strong community bonds even in times of calamities and hardships. So, next is balikatan or bayanihan. So, Filipino term taken from the word bay equals ayan or referring to a nation, town, or community. So, ang bayanihan is the beautiful Filipino cultural tradition that embodies the spirit of community cooperations and unity. So, it is a positive practice where neighbors come together to help one another. So, often involving tasks like moving a house. So, mo na ang kanaang naa sa picture. Kanang nagtinabangay jud sila. That's what we called balikatan or bayanihan. So, next is remedio attitude. So, it is a creative and resourceful. So, ang remedio, it is a trait of being creative and resourceful. So, a Filipino that have ability to do impossible things nga kanang butang nga dili nato kaya. So, example, kanang naa sa picture. So to fix appliances. Nga na. So, naiuban nga mabuhat na nila, unya napoy uban nga dili. So, mo nang gitawag nga remedio attitude, kanang naa sila creative and mga resourceful nga mga talent or skills. Next is matiyaga. So, tenacity and strong determination in every undertaking. So, as a Filipino, we have a capacity to hard work in every undertaking. So, it's because we have a strong determination to achieve our goals in life, to achieve our dreams in life for the future. So, we need to be matiyaga because we desire to have a better life. So, for example, kanang naa sa picture. So, di ba, na siya strong determination na makahuman. So, muna siyang example sa matyaga. So, next is ningasbaw kugon. So, being enthusiastic only during the start of new undertaking but ends dismally in accomplishing nothing. So, muna siya ang kuan. It is a person who enthusiastic or hardworking, nice or great at first but eventually no longer continue what was started. So, kanang hardworking siya sa pinakauna but kalaunan dili na niya humanon iyang nasagdan. So, makita nato sa picture, di ba, nga kanang determinado jud siya nga mo trabaho sa pinakauna but at the end wa na niya jud gihuman. So, next is crab mentality. So, characterized by retreating or withdrawal from certain undertaking and leaving everything to God to interfere and determine the outcome of his deeds. So, crab mentality in its traditional sense refers to a negative behavior where individuals in a group try to undermine or pull down someone who is progressing or achieving success rather than supporting and encouraging them. So, it does not involve retreating or leaving everything to fate. So, it is more about jealousy or resentment towards others' success. So, next is colonial mentality. So, value of showing admiration and preference to foreign produce goods over local one. So, kini siya is halaga ng pagpapakita ng paghanga at pagkagusto sa mga produkto na gawa ng mga dayuhan. So, we need to have this value because we don't have right to discriminate against immigrants. So, kailangan as Filipino, we need to show our admiration and we should to appreciate their products. Next is karma or kapalaran. So, para sa ko ang karma, so kung unsay mohang gibuhat nga mali or dautan, mubalik ra pud sa imuha. So, kung moingon pud ta sa kapalaran, so mo na siya ang accepting fate by believing that everything is written in his palm. So, Some Filipinos believe that one fortune is written on his or her palm or palad. But ako is dili ko magtuo ana because you will become successful if it's really your fate. Okay, so next is Filipino time. So means always late. So Filipino time is one of the negative values of many Filipinos that still exists today. So in other countries, that's simply called late. So in the Philippines, it's called Filipino time, right? So Filipino time means being minutes to hours late compared to the standard time. So this value is nahabit na jud sa kadaghanan kanang being always late sa time nga gisabutan. So maliban na lang sa mga important meetings. Next is chambalang attitude. So simplicity by declaring that his or her accomplishment are results of luck and not from perseverance and ability. So giingon dere that the accomplishment of Filipinos in this value is bunga lang sa swerte dili sa paningkamot. So, di ba sometimes kita sab is maswertihan sab ta panagsa without hard work like sa kwarta, sa exam nato, sometimes matsambahan ra, di ba? Next is positive and negative cultural Filipino values. So, diri na punta. So, base kay Corpus et al. 2019, he identified inherent traits that make Filipinos different from other nationalities. So these traits have formed part of the Filipino identity. So it is interesting to note that the values enumerated here reveal the influence of Eastern thought for Filipinos being other-oriented in nature. So now, diri na ta sa positive Filipino values. Positive Filipino values rather. Okay. So, bayanihan. So, it is a practice of the spirit of kinship and camaraderie. So, the custom of bayanihan is observed whenever a helping hand is extended to accomplish a task as a group. So it is a Filipino community spirit and cooperations wherein a group of individuals extend the helping hand to accomplish the task without expecting any remuneration or kapalit. So mo na example sa picture kanang a group of individuals nga nagtinabangay sila nga kanaang without kapalit nga gipangayo nila. Next is damayan. So Filipino always extend sympathy for people, especially for those who lost their loved ones or who were victims of calamities. So, di ba, Filipinos are very sympathetic and generous, jud. So, especially when it comes to helping people who lost a loved one. So, kanang ready jud sila mag-console sa bereaved family. So, ga-offer silang mga moral and emotional support. But aside ana, mga Filipinos ga-try pod sila to help financially. Then, kung ang uban dili maka-help through financial, so mutabang sila dito sa kanaang na wadan o hinigugma like sa kanang pag-serve og mga coffee, pag-atiman sa mga bisita. Then kumukuan pud about sa kanaang mga victims of calamities. So ang uban mo tabang gyapon sila through financial or manghatag sila og mga pagkaon nga ingana. So next is familism or close family ties. So Filipinos are known to prioritize the welfare of family members above other things. So familism or close family ties, it is a giving highest importance to family above other things. So wherein family members should be taken care to and to support them. So a family members must given attention and should not be abandoned. So next is optimism. So Filipinos have the attitude of looking at all ways to be happy and to maintain a positive outlook even in times of calamities and other challenging in life. So all Filipinos facing a many challenges in life, Jod. But behind of that, Filipinos need to looking all at ways to be happy despite of difficulties in their lives. So they need to maintain their positive outlook despite of all challenges, because being optimism, it can help them to be happier, more successful, and also healthier. Next is hospitality. So Filipinos are identified to be warm, friendly, generous, and accommodating to other people, fellow Filipino, or not. So ang mga Pilipino is giila jud as warm, friendly, generous, and accommodating. So they making people feel valued and they appreciated and going the extra mile to make them feel welcome, Filipino man na or foreigner. So some Filipinos are hospitality jud or hospitable. Next is regionalism. Outside the significant others, Filipinos have this attitude of giving more priority to their province mate rather. So Filipinos tend to prioritize their fellow province mates over others. So which is common manifestation of regionalism in many countries. So this preference for significant others or province can sometimes lead to biases and disparities in resource allocations and opportunities. Excuse. So next is respect for elders. So Filipinos are told to show courtesy towards the elderly at all times. So respect for elders is one of the precious things Filipinos have, is that they are respectful. Young, youth, people in all ages know how to show respect and courtesy. So some ways to show them are the use of po at opo. So pagmamano or putting the back of an elder's hand on your forehead and calling our older siblings or elders ate or kuya. So in that way, so we need to be respectful to elders because elders have contributed to society throughout their lives and deserve to be treated with dignity and respect in their old age. So respecting elders also sets a good example for younger generations. So teaching them the value of empathy, compassion, and kindness. Next is remedio attitude. So na-explain ko naman na ganiha that Filipinos are known for being creative and resourceful. Kanang mga tao nga naay kakayanan sa mga butang nga kita dili na to makaya na nga butang sab. So kanang murag kanang mas creative sila, tapos basta na kanang si tawag ana oy, Filipinos are known to be creative, kanang mabuhat nila ang mga butang nga dili na to mabuhat ana. Next is matyaga. So Filipinos are known for their great and strong determinations in every undertaking. So Filipinos are often admired for their matyaga spirit, which reflects their resilience, perseverance, and strong determinations in facing challenges and pursuing their goals. So it is a commendable quality that has contributed to their success in various endeavors. So the next is utang na loob. Sorry, ma'am, wala ko siya nabuhatan og PPT po. Nakalimot ko. So, utang na loob is a feeling of gratitude, recognition of one's indebtedness and obligation to repay someone who has extended assistance to another. So, ang utang na loob kay wait lang. So, ang utang na loob kay kanaang is about showing gratitude and respect to those who have helped you in some way. So, kanang it is not just about repaying a debt but about recognizing the good deeds of others and being thankful for them. So, Filipino encompasses a deep sense of gratitude, recognizing one's indebtedness and the obligation to repay or reciprocate the kindness or assistance that provided by someone. So, it is an important cultural concept in Filipino society to emphasizing the value of maintaining harmonious relationships and to acknowledging the help that we receive from others. So, next is the negative cultural Filipino values. So, the negative cultural Filipino values is we have a bahala na attitude. So, this is a Filipino trait of living to fate and luck. The outcome of a certain undertaking, hence the expression bahala na. So, bahala na is one of the Filipino attitudes. So, based the outcome of a certain undertaking of the Filipino is leaving everything to God to interpret and determine the outcome of his deeds. So, it is an attitude commonly experienced by Filipinos when faced with challenging situations. So, next is colonial mentality or blue seal mentality. So, it is a Filipino value of giving high regard to foreign products and treating the local as inferior and low in quality. So, colonial is the attitude of giving high regard to foreign products and viewing local ones as inferior. So, in the context of the Philippines, so it can indeed be seen as negative value. So, as it can hinder the development and promotions of local industries and products. So, encouraging the appreciations of local made goods can help boost the economy and promote the national pride. So, next is grab mentality. So, it is a Filipino attitude born out of jealousy and insecurity, characterized by an attempt to pull down those who are ahead of them in life. So, it is a Filipino attitude characterized by an attempt to pull down someone who has achieved a success beyond the others. So, this done out of jealousy and insecurity. So, next is euphemistic. So, this is Filipino attitude of not being frank and straightforward so as not to offend or hurt another person. So, euphemistic is a behavior of some Filipinos that involves using polite or indirect language to avoid causing offense or hurt feelings when communicating with others. So, kanang gusto nimo siya i-prangka or gusto nimo siya i-direct to the point tungod na kay kalagot sa iya but dili ka gusto makasakit sa isa ka tao. So, you need to be an euphemistic. So, next is Filipino time. So, this manifests among Filipinos through lack of punctuality. So, Filipino time is often associated with lack of punctuality, right? So, where some Filipinos may not adhere to strict time schedules and may arrive later than the agreed upon or expected time for appointments rather, or events. So this cultural norm can be a source of frustration for those who value punctuality and timeliness. So however, it is important to remember that cultural norms and behaviors can vary widely within any country, and not all Filipinos adhere to the stereotype of Filipino time. So the next is gaya-gaya attitude. So earlier na-discuss na ako ng gaya-gaya attitude, right? So this is a Filipino trait of copying or imitating others' work, product, type of business, passion, and the like. So this behavior can have both positive and negative implications depending on the context and the intentions behind it. So the gaya-gaya is someone who copies or imitates others without giving credit or with the intent to deceive. So this behavior can be seen as unoriginal and unethical, so especially if it involves copying someone else's work, ideas, or style without permission or proper acknowledgement. So it is generally considered negative and can lead to issues like plagiarism or intellectual property infringement. So by gaya-gaya attitude or to imitate is can called a lack of creativity and originality. Okay? So next is jackpot mentality. So this is characterized by an instant millionaire mentality of some Filipino who would rather engage in past ways of acquiring money by letting in lottery, participating in a contest, and sending entries in raffle draws rather than working hard to have a better life. So, jackpot mentality is a quick and easy way to be an instant millionaire rather than working hard. So, example, lottery, contest, mga raffle draws. So, with this example, without hard work, you can be a millionaire. So, and this is not just in the Philippines but also in other culture or in other country. So, next is belief in kapalaran. So, it is a Filipino trait of believing and accepting that one's fate is already written in the stars. So, as what I've said earlier, di ko mutuoan ng ang imong kapalaran is nakasulat sa palad or naa daw nakakuan sa star. So, next is manana habit or manyaya habit. So, manyaya from the phrase mamayana means I'll do it later, is an attitude of Filipinos characterized by stalling on doing tasks instead of doing them immediately. So, mamayana is an attitude among some Filipinos. So, instead na buhaton nimo ang task immediately, nga giingon sa imo, so, kay tungod kay mamanya habit man, manyaya habit or manana habit, so, instead kay mong buhaton na nga butang, moingon ka og, unya na or mamaya na or I'll do it later. So, next is ningas kugon. So this is characterized by the attitude of being enthusiastic only at the beginning of an endeavor. So na-explain gyapon nako ni kaganiha. So ang ningas kugon is refers to someone who starts something with great enthusiasms but quickly loses interest or commitment sa iyang ginabuhat na mga task. So next is oversensitivity. So it is the inability of some Filipinos to withstand and accept criticisms. They are easily hurt as they take those personally and negatively instead of constructively. So oversensitivity is a very challenges in any culture, not just among Filipinos. So it is important for individuals to develop the ability to receive criticism constructively and not to take it personally. So as a Filipino, we need to build resilience and a growth mindset because it can help us to handling criticisms more effectively. Next is pakikisama. So, na-explain gyapon ako ni siya ganiha sa either sa Filipino values ba to or naa siya sa positive values. So, it is a Filipino attitude of always adhering or submitting to the will of the group they are part of. So, pakikisama is a Filipino cultural concept that emphasizes the importance of harmonious relationships within a group. So, it involves being cooperative, considerate, and accommodating to maintain social harmony and to avoid conflict with the community or among peers. So this value places a strong emphasis on group cohesion and the idea that one should prioritize the well-being of the collective over individual interest. So next is lack of sportsmanship. So it is an attitude of Filipinos manifested in how they cannot seem to accept defeat. So the concept of sportsmanship is important in sports and competitions worldwide. So it involves fairness, respect for opponents, and accepting both victory and defeat gracefully. So it is not unique to Filipinos, as people from various cultures may struggle with sportsmanship at times. So it's essential to encourage sportsmanship values and any sporting community to promote a healthy and respectful competitive environment. Next is chambalang attitude. So it is an attitude characterized by the refusal to take the credit for one's own accomplishment, instead owing it to charm and luck. So the term chambalang attitude seems to describe an attitude where a person attributes their accomplishment to charm and luck rather than taking credit for their own efforts. So it suggests a modest or humble perspective on one's achievement. So this is all the part of the Filipino values that influenced by Western and Eastern. So that's all my report. Thank you and God bless.